Hello dear student, myself Kanchan Vishramji Kumbalkar, Assistant Professor, Sri Shivaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Akola. I am here to deliver a 7th lecture of Thermoanalytical Method. This is the overall syllabus of Thermal Method of Analysis, and the highlighted topics are completed in a previous lecture. In this lecture, we will discuss with instrumentation for differential thermal analysis and factor affecting DTA curve. So let's start with the topic instrumentation for differential thermal analysis. In previous lecture, we discussed with what is meant by differential thermal analysis. Basically, there are comparison between a sample and a reference compound and the temperature of the furnace with respect to the change in temperature of reference and the sample compound has been studied in a differential thermal analysis. Means, in a simple way, differential thermal analysis means it is nothing but a comparison of the change in temperature of the reference and the sample with respect to the increase in temperature. Means the graph has been plotted between the delta T, that is difference in temperature of sample and reference compound, versus temperature on a x-axis. So this is the differential thermal analysis. In this lecture, we are dealing with the instrumentation for differential thermal analysis. Now, in this instrument, there are the basic 5 components are required. There are basically 5 components has been considered. First one is the furnace for the heating purpose for the increase in temperature in a continuous, successive and constant manner. Second one is the furnace controller, which maintain the rate of supply of temperature. Third one is the atmosphere controller. The atmosphere, any atmosphere can be maintained during the reaction. For example, we can maintain CO2 gas, we can maintain simply air as an atmosphere surrounding to the sample as well as the reference compound. So for that purpose, we required a atmosphere controller. Next one is the amplifier, which amplify the signal or the when there is a potential difference has been developed due to the chemical or physical changes takes place in that of the sample compound, and the difference between the sample and reference temperature occurred, then amplifier amplify or catch the signal and modified and sent to the recorder. And the last component of the instrument is the recorder. So basically, in a differential thermal analysis, there are basic 5 component. First one is the furnace, second one is the furnace controller, third one is the atmosphere controller, fourth one is the amplifier, and fifth one is the recorder, which has been shown in the next figure. So let's check out. Now this is the block diagram of the DTA apparatus, that is differential thermal analysis apparatus. Now what the instrument consists? In this, F is indicated as this is furnace. The block which is showing in the sense of F, it is a furnace which supply the temperature. S is the sample, and this is the sample container or a sample holder, and with the same atmosphere in a same chamber there is a reference compound is also taken. The TS is nothing but the thermocouple for that of the sample, and Tr is a thermocouple for that of the reference compound. For the furnace, there is a separate thermocouple has been implanted. So there are three thermocouple to supply the temperature. First one is the Ts for that of the sample, Tr for that of the reference compound, and T is for that of the furnace. Next one, A is a amplifier, V is a recorder, and AC is atmosphere controller, and delta T is the recorded data from that of the amplifier which is transferred to that of the recorder. So basically there are 5 components in this block diagram. There is the F, that is furnace, second one is the amplifier, third one is that of your recorder, fourth one is your atmosphere controller which control the atmosphere. Now how the procedure work. The furnace F consists of a heating block. This is the heating block where the sample as well as the reference compound has been plotted. The furnace F consists of a heating block with two identical symmetrical located chamber. The chamber are contain an inert reference material such as aluminium oxide which does not change in any manner through the temperature range which we have to study. The chamber S contain the sample under investigation. The reference and the sample are in contact with the thermocouple R and Ts and Tr respectively. The furnace is then heated at a linear rate. As long as the temperature of reference and that of the sample are the same, there will not be any potential difference between the two thermocouples. Means when you are supplying a temperature to the reference and the sample in a linear way, if there is no any changes, if there is no any physical or chemical changes takes place, if there is no any difference between the sample and recorder, there is no any potential difference has been developed. But if, however, if there is any difference between the reference temperature and the sample temperature, the potential develops between the two thermocouples. If the sample and the reference compound temperature is same, then there is no any potential difference developed between Ts and Tr. But if the temperature vary, if the temperature difference occurred in between the sample and the reference, then the potential has been developed in between the Ts and Tr. And this potential is fed into the amplifier A, and the output which is proportional to the delta T. What is delta T? Delta T is a difference between the temperature of sample and temperature of reference, that is delta T is equal to Ts minus Tr. So it recorded on a y-axis of the recorder V. So if there is a potential developed, then that has been fed to the amplifier in the sense of delta T, and that has been recorded in a V on y-axis. V is the recorder. The temperature of furnace is measured by a separate thermocouple T, which is connected to the x-axis. So which is connected to the x-axis of the recorder. So this data fed to the recorder and which is fed to the y-axis, and this temperature of furnace which is connected to the recorder which is fed to the x-axis of the recorder. The DTA curve obtained on the recorder will be a straight line parallel to the x-axis if the delta T is 0. Obviously, if there is no change in temperature between the sample and the reference compound, then the delta T is give a straight line parallel to the x-axis. But if the delta T is positive, means the temperature of sample is greater than the temperature of reference, then the delta T must be positive. Hence, the curve show a exotherm. The curve show exotherm means delta T is positive and the peak is above the 0 line. On the other hand, if delta T is negative, that is the temperature of sample is lower than the temperature of reference, then delta T must be negative and the peak is observed below the 0 line. Hence, the curve DTA curve exhibit as an endotherm. The atmosphere controller, that is AC, permit the circulation of air or other gases to surround the sample and the reference chamber in the furnace. Means, what is the work of atmosphere controller? It permit the circulation of what kind of atmosphere has been selected. That atmosphere has been circulated in this chamber, which is constant to both sample as well as reference compound. It is also possible to maintain the furnace under vacuum. Thus, a DTA curve can be obtained in the desired atmosphere because of the atmosphere control. Usually, the sample is surrounded by an atmosphere of air. So, this is the overall instrumentation of DTA in a block format. This is the overall explanation. Now, the next point is the factor affecting DTA curve. DTA curve are also governed by the factor affecting the TG curve. The factor who affect the TG curve are also responsible to affect the DTA curve. Thus, what are those factors? First one is the heating rate. The heating rate should not be very high or it should not be very low. It must be in a moderate way. If it is very high, so you cannot give a accurate peaks. You cannot identify exact accurate result. If it is very low, then it is a time consuming as well as it does not give a sharp peaks. Next one, atmosphere. The effect of atmosphere has been observed in a next figure. If there is a change in atmosphere, there is a different reactions occurred and due to which the different peaks are also observed in a DTA curve. So the atmosphere is also the important factor which govern the DTA curve. Next one is the geometry of sample holders. We know that if the sample holder is like a very much open mouth apparatus, then there is a very easy evaporation takes place. If it is very closed type apparatus, then evaporation rate is slower. Hence, the vapors which is formed below the compound layer, that is not ejected, and hence the appropriate weight loss is not observed. So a proper geometry of sample holder are also important. And the last point is that the sample characterization or sample characteristics, which alter the position of DTA peaks. Of special interest is the role played by the atmosphere in DTA. The most important factor is DTA. The following example illustrate this. For example, by considering the next figure, we show that a curve of calcium oxalate monohydrate obtained in an atmosphere of CO2, the first curve, and in an atmosphere of air. So let's check out. This is the DTA curve of calcium DTA curve of calcium oxalate monohydrate in different two atmosphere. First curve indicate that the results has been observed in a presence of air as a atmosphere, and in a second case, in a second curve, the CO2 is used as a atmosphere. Now first of all, consider the first peak. In this first peak, there are the three endotherms has been observed. Endotherm means the delta T is negative. The peaks are observed below the zero line. Means when the delta T versus T has been observed, then there are the simultaneously continuously three endotherms has been observed. When you are taking a calcium oxalate monohydrate in a CO2, so it indicates that there are continuous endothermic reactions has been occurred, and these three peaks are because of the successive elimination of water, CO and CO2. This is the basic reason behind these three different endotherms. But by the same compound, by using the same compound, observing the same DTA curve for that of the calcium oxalate monohydrate, when you are observing the DTA curve for that of the calcium oxalate monohydrate but in a different atmosphere, that is in a air, then there are two endotherms but there is a sharp exotherm is also observed. So the peak is observed. There are three peaks, but out of which two are endotherm, where the delta T is negative with respect to the temperature, and here the delta T is positive, means it is a exotherm. And this is because of the second peak, which is contrast to this condition. It is because of the exothermic condition, because of the burning of CO in a presence of air. So this is the basic difference, means this is the main important factor, that is by altering the atmosphere, or if the atmosphere get altered, then the DTA curve get shifted or it get completely changed. So this is the most important factor which govern the DTA curve. So this is the overall explanation. So in next lecture we will start with the application of differential thermal analysis. So up till then, take care, be safe, stay safe. Thank you very much.